In this video, I'm about to reassemble a 4.3 Vortec V6 cylinder head. It's really not dirty. It's been sitting around collecting. It has no oil or grime on it. Just been sitting around for 2 years in my shed collecting dust. So I could have probably just blown it off, but I decided to do it right. So I disassembled it, took the valves, the exhaust and intake valves out. There's 6 total. There's the exhaust I'm about to put back in. There's the other ones. I'm out here in the bed of my truck because I want some fresh air and daylight, but it looks like the sun's going down faster than I thought, so I don't know how much daylight. I'm going to do this one and then move into the shed. But anyway, I just wanted to show you, this is a ring compressor. And a ring compressor, you use it to, you pull the spring in, put the keepers in, and then pop the ring compressor loose, and you install the valve. So it's not really that hard to do. Sorry, but I can't do the valves with one hand, so I'm going to have to just show you the end result after it's done. But that's how you do it. You buy a ring compressor. They make different types, but I've had this one for years. It's a Craftsman, and it works pretty good, so I'm going to keep using it. But sorry, low battery. So anyway, I'm about to put the exhaust valve back in, then I'm going to clean the rest of them, put them in, and I'm going to install the head on the engine. Alright, in this video I'm about to install the cylinder heads. I've already prepped the cylinder head for installation by cleaning it, and in the previous video I showed you how I cleaned off the springs and keepers and everything and valves, but it's ready to go now. So the first thing I'm going to do is this is called the deck surface. I want to wipe this clean with acetone. Any oil or grease. I've got oil down the cylinder, but you don't want any oil on this surface where the gasket rests because it may not stick to it very well. So that's what I'm about to do. I've got a can of acetone here. I'm about to take a blue shot rag and wipe this surface down to get all the oil off of it and get it spotless for installing the cylinder head. As I was saying, I cleaned the deck surface here, and you want to pay particular attention to the metal between the two cylinders, because that's where you're going to most likely have a blown head gasket if it leaks. So you want to make sure it's clean, very clean here and right here. No oil or grease on these two surfaces. No oil or grease anywhere, but especially there. So I've cleaned it off with acetone, and now I'm about to put the head gasket on. So the head gasket I purchased is Philpro part number 9354 PT1, and bought these from Rock Auto. They were for 2001, 2002 Vortec V6, and you can see down here it says use no sealer and so forth. So it also says use head bolt set ES 74034, and that's what I have right here. So I'm using head bolts ES 74034. You have to use new head bolts because the old head bolts are called torque to yield, and they stretch, and once they're stretched, you're not supposed to reuse them again. Some people do. The head bolts were $16 a set. I consider it worth good insurance. Just go ahead and buy them. So anyway, about to install this head gasket, and a lot of times head gaskets will have a marking on them to tell you where the top is. I don't see a marking on this one, but the number right there is embossed on it, so I'm assuming that's the top. But if I open this up and I see anything different, I'll do a video then, but I'm pretty sure it goes on just like this. So I'm about to open it out of the package and put it on the engine. One thing I'll make sure of is that you have these locating dowels. There's a dowel right there and a dowel right there, and those are what keep the head aligned up on the engine. So if you don't have those dowels, you need to stop now and go get some. And the heads fit on those dowels to keep them sliding off. Alright, so I'm about to close this thing up and or open up the head gasket and put it on, and then I'll set the head on it. Okay, the head gasket's installed, and I'm about to set the head on top of the head gasket. There was no marking, so I just went with the writing being legible on the top, and that's how I put it on. One thing you want to make sure of is that your holes, all these holes in the gasket line up with something behind them. You don't want to have a hole in the gasket and it not line up with a hole in the steel behind it. And I'll Also, obviously, you don't use, like I said, you don't use sealer on this gasket. You just place the head on it and bolt it on. So I'm about to place the head on it now. Alright, in this video I'm about to put the passenger side cylinder head on, and I've already got the cylinder head gasket in place. I want to make a comment that I didn't mention on the driver's side head gasket, but in Rock Auto, the AC Delco part number for the head gasket mentions it's good for marine use, and this head gasket, this is a Felpro, also top of the line. This head gasket was mentioned for as a direct replacement for the AC Delco part number that was a marine gasket, so I'm quite confident this is fine for marine use. This is, like I said, one of the top quality gaskets you can buy, so I like using this. So what I'm about to do is place the cylinder head on here, and I'm gonna put the bolts in, and I'll show you which way they go, and then I'll show you how to torque them down. I went ahead and finished the other cylinder head last night and didn't show that on video because I was getting tired and wanted to get wrapped up. So I'll show how you tighten the cylinder head down on this side. It's the same as the other side, you just repeat it on this side. So I'm about to put the cylinder head on, put the bolts in place, and then I'll show you another video. As I stated in the other video on putting on the cylinder heads, I'm using new head bolts, and the head bolt part number is ES74034. And these bolts are brand new. They come in separate sealed bags. You get 3 different sizes. You get the longest ones, the medium ones, and the short ones. The longest ones go in these holes here on top. The 2 medium ones go on the side here and here. And the short ones, the 6 short ones, go down there on the outside. They're the shortest. So I'm about to put those in the holes, and then I'll show you how to torque them down. One thing I want to make a note of is, I'll show it in the bag. These bolts already have a sealant on them from the factory, so there's no need to add any kind of silicone sealant or anything to the bolts. Just put them in the hole, thread them down, and torque them down. And there's a process for torquing, which I'm about to show you, but I just want to make a point. You don't need any kind of sealant on the threads for these bolts. I do like to put a drop of oil underneath the head just to make it, when I'm torquing it down, easier a little bit. Doesn't really matter since it's a torque to yield, but that's just a habit I get into. Let's see what else I'm going to say. That's about it. So I'm going to go ahead and put the bolts in now, and then I'll show you how to torque them down.